He's coming back at 7. Dr. Who?
Still here?
Yep. We explained the final project well for data science. Because I was helping people both in 10th and 9th grade, and first off, they didn't know how to structure their scientific question, and then after that I didn't get past the question, honestly. But like, people just didn't know what to do after that. They didn't know what the test statistic was. They didn't know anything else.
For most of the 9th grader or 10th grader?
Both of them.
Both of them.
Yeah.
Grader did pretty well, right?
Well, what?
They're making PowerPoint.
It's just. What about the code? What about the code itself?
Code is right.
Yeah, but. Like the PowerPoint is nothing without the code.
Yeah, in fact, my college level data science, many students have the same thing. Just don't have the critical thinking. They basically only want instructions to tell them what scientific question is. The curiosity is not there because maybe too much internet, too much information, and they cannot think. So in this case, I think I need to go to each group, the canvas, and are there any group who have already have some code and make some
serious
graphic? Okay, how about this? Tonight I will try to work on each group.
You're not going to do it for them, are you?
I will.
Because I'm thinking of doing another very small lecture around like 5 minutes at the start of Monday's class.
On Monday, I don't know if we have enough time. If they spend
But they still have Wednesday, right?
one class before the presentation. So Wednesday is the presentation. And then Thursday is the exhibition. So that means we have to provide some foundation or something for them to play on.
How about this? I give some announcements in the campus. I give the general structure. Right?
Practical. Provide some hints. For example, if we want them to get third floor to be okay, currently they are still on the ground floor. We have to raise them to second floor.
I know, but this is all so conceptual. I don't think we can just give them hints and expect them to do it. This is a process. There are
I
steps.
know. We
right?
have to. Today you didn't tell them to submit the second draft, right? None of the groups submit the second draft.
Why are we basing it off of drafts?
Because we want them to push themselves. Without that, like, even cannot think where are they. They have to submit something.
I know, but like.
You are limited.
Just, okay. Alright, I'll post a few Canvas announcements. Alright.
What kind of announcement?
Well, just outlining how this, like, the strategies for how this is going to work. Like, how to do statistical tests. Basically, because
These two classes we talked about the day I did again, right?
I know, but like,
Hypothesis test.
it's just,
And
we need to push them along any way we can. Alright?
eventually I think you may be right. We need to give them something for them to present. Eventually this is kind of a teacher and the students collaboration. For example, last year I had to give one group some of my code. Eventually they were able to present a P. Right? Without giving them, none of them showed this. So I would say this year, maybe by this weekend, I will provide each group something like that. You can imagine if
I'll do it by this evening. Alright? We have to be sooner rather than later. We have to be sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Alright? Okay.
But are you going to make an announcement?
Yes.
Before you announce anything, let me know. Okay? I don't want to suddenly come out and something I need to control.
Okay. So I remember you said way back when, like, aside from sampling, there was also this other strategy of like shuffling the x coordinates, right? Okay. And then you would get the slope off of that shuffled part, and then you would get the do it that 1,000 times, get the slopes off of each of those shuffled
Just a
graphs.
second.
Right?
When you say shuffle, you're talking about periodic table within that.
Yeah, I remember you mentioned it during our project.
Yeah, because if you don't shuffle, it will be like that within that period, right?
Yes.
That line. And if you shuffle, definitely it will become like this, right?
Wait, do you mean, what are we shuffling, X or Y? Well, it doesn't matter, does it?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
This is basically you. Let me see. You shuffle. Yes, you basically shuffle Y.
Okay, shuffle Y.
So X is the same thing.
Okay.
So Y will, instead of this one, they will become like this.
Okay, and then we get the best fit line after that. Or,
Each one you can imagine is a random become, right?
yes.
Because random, the center will be 0, right?
The center? What do you mean?
The center distribution will be 0, the slope.
Okay, the distribution of slopes.
Yeah, slope.
Okay.
And this is very straight line, basically is on the railway here, right? So you can imagine this p-value would be very small. Just use more. For example, 5 or 6 data point.
You're saying you should only use it for ones with few data points?
As long as it works.
As long as it works?
Train to 30th Street Station. Train to 30th Street.
Very broken. Because I'm selecting the key spread.
Pigeon just flew onto the tracks.
You want jump in to save it?
I'm just wondering what that
You can fly anytime. But you can. How crazy bird this is something very yeah, I think you're right. Because we want to use this shuffle, this simulation, it doesn't have to be perfect. But as long as they go through this process, whatever model is, and just use the simple.
So I imagine that sampling, that would be good if we had two different distinct groups, like red wine versus white wine.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So it wouldn't be practical to use like sampling if it were a continuous stream of values, right?
Continue.
Like
You should.
if it were like if it were like location, like the longitude, right? There's no like distinct group. There's just a continuous stream. You can't just divide it down. So you can't just divide it down the middle and make groups that way, right? Are you sure it's express?
Hey, Melbourne Express. Yes. Locally after Red North.
Yeah, red, white. If you compare their pH, they may have difference. And if shuffle red wine and pH, basically labeling is shuffle. And then you calculate this, the mean value of the pH. Maybe a distribution. If this pH difference is that significant. So this is one thing. Also, water quality.
Like I'm saying, like if it were like something like location, right? Like the longitude, like that's a continuous stream of values. There's no definitive like type or type.
Longitude. Oh, I see.
Like,
The longitude.
You can't just split it down the middle and say this is 100, this is 1,000.
It's hard to define.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't want to continuous. The boundary need to be very clear. For them, red one, it cannot be white. The white one cannot be red. But if longitude here, do you think this is belong to that? It's a hard issue. And also the difference may not be that clear in that domain. So that sometimes the scientific question we need to. So this is one quality. What is the other? What are others? Like crime data. Crime data, they say.
Like the type of crime. That is one type. That sort of thing.
Yeah. For example, robbery. The robbery happened mostly in the night or in the day. You say
Well, like
yeah.
that
So
seems like a bit more.
another way is even in the daytime and the nighttime crime difference. The null hypothesis is there no difference.
Yes.
But the alternative hypothesis is either daytime or nighttime.
Yes.
When you do the visualization, you may find originally you thought robbery should occur in nighttime, right? But turn out sometimes, most likely it is daytime. So since even robbers, thieves prefer night daytime. So now you find out, okay, daytime and nighttime, they are not equal, right? Therefore, the null hypothesis is they are equal. There are no significant difference. But the alternative hypothesis is daytime significantly higher than night. And then you can group these two. Daytime from early 6 to 6.
So how do we? That's the question.
Yeah,
How do we
from
define
6
that?
to 6, and this is 6 to 6. So you need to define the boundary. As long as your boundary is clearly defined, then the reader understand your definition. They will not complain. If you don't define clearly, they will complain. So if you clearly define the boundary, then you can group them daytime number, nighttime number. You can, according to daytime number, nighttime number, you can use the indigo table.sample and randomly pick. Ignore the daytime or nighttime. You just random pick and do NP.mean basically they
So
just
you shuffle them around and
Yeah.
say that okay, some parts of this are daytime, some parts of this are nighttime. Don't care which one,
correct.
and then just
Originally, you clearly separate daytime, nighttime. For example, daytime because there's so many more. For example, 500. For nighttime, only 200. So when you're sampling, you will table of sample the number of rows you take daytime sample daytime mean equal to table of sample 500 and sample nighttime mean equal to table of sample 200. So did you see that? That is the way Indigo did. And then they say, okay, I separate this shuffle and select only the number of e-byte, only number of the standard byte. Then they calculate the mean. And they did the random sampling. Then definitely they did the bell shape center of here. Did you see what I showed you? Forward email you saw it here. So Dr. Nyquist agreed with me. He made a mistake in that. So that was a big correction in fact. We had used at least 1.5 years. So I was wondering, because that time I didn't understand this much. But this time I kind of, what is this with the mean, the absolute. So now we don't use the absolute. So this is, for each project we can dig in, for example, graduation rate. Graduation rate, you can try to find some districts or according to the zip code. You could find the two zip codes. One zip code that has the highest graduation rate, the other zip code has the lowest graduation rate, and try to find these two information on their economic situation or something, and from outside data if they didn't provide. Maybe one is economic advantage here, the other is disadvantage. So you can say disadvantage have lower graduate rate. And then you can shuffle. Did you see that? Similar thing. And then you can do the distribution. It's zero centered, but in the reality, it is big difference. So you can see once you understand the rule, you can use the same thing to play this game. The main thing is using different data, different terminology, and I remember what they did was kidney disease. Do you remember in the TU poster, there was one.
Once again, this is your express to Bryn Mawr, then local to Malvern. Our next station stop will be 30th Street Station. William H. Bridge 3rd to 30th Street Station. Next stop.
And their difference is clearly is on one side. And also this is statistics from Dr. Nyquist. Now I begin to understand why they use the one table and the two tables. speed or different speed. And for which is faster, because he used the absolute value for the difference, it doesn't matter. Therefore, those going to the wrong direction, this direction is the standard bike is much faster, infinitely faster than the e-bike. Being regarded as the e-bike much faster than the standard bike. That tail should not be included. That should include all those not meeting the null hypothesis. Because the null hypothesis is e-bike faster, rather faster than the standard bike. But the necklace used the absolute difference. That absolute difference larger or equal to the test statistic. And that his test statistic is the absolute number. So his mistake was include the other side of the table. So after I revise that, it's much easier to understand. And it is below 5%. That is a huge difference. And even he was kind of surprised to see this adjustment make the P value smaller than 5. It is a totally different conclusion. I still remember, I think 2 years ago, when he taught in his class, I was auditing for one whole semester just to learn from him. Because he's an expert in statistics. I still remember he said that this is 8%, it's larger than 5%, therefore need more the data points. So I still remember that. Yeah, I spent an hour or so to write that email last night. Just want to make sure it is correct.
We are now arriving at 30th Street Station. The stop, 30th Street Station.
It's a big mistake because whenever we point to other people's
Please remember to check your surroundings and make sure that you have all of your belongings. Watch your step while exiting. And as a quick reminder, from this point forward, we will express to Bryn Mawr. Bryn Mawr will be our next stop.
Dr. Knightley is a very nice person, but that he will retire next spring. He's over 70 years. Maybe I can introduce you to me someday. He brought his whole family to a volcano, and the volcano is still hot, red hot. Volcano lava, is that called lava? Still red, and they stand by that red lava. Unbelievable.
Where is it?
Either Hawaii or Alaska. I think most likely Hawaii. He had the lecture notes. I think I could find it. I will download all his lecture notes. He is very nice. He posted all his lecture notes for new February. This fall semester we added quite a few instructors because we increased number of sections. And if you are good at data science, once you graduate, you can immediately teach this. And
Good evening, and
it's a
once again,
good,
this train will now express to Bryn Mawr and then become local to Malvern,
Of course you
making
can
all stops to Malvern.
make
Our
money
next station stop will be
by
Bryn Mawr. Bryn Mawr will be our next station stop. Please have all tickets and passes out and available for inspection. Again, please have all tickets and passes available for
they
inspection.
need
Thank you.
free lunch. Freelance, not free lunch. Freelance data scientist. Basically, the unresolved data science project you can help to resolve. So quite cool. So the Python coding you have is very useful and a little interesting. You can resolve something other computer language cannot. So the data science Python combination is a really good combination. Also, you can build your own website. It's called GitHub, right? GitHub, and you can have all your Python coding. Once you make it work, you can put it there for your followers, and you can build your credentials. Of course, you can decide how much you want to share. Sometimes just show some projects. Usually that is enough to get a new job. They usually look at your project. You can see your potential. You can see how you code with Python and to solve problems. Then they can hire you. Very easy. You want to pick you up, or you want to walk?
Probably won't.